Talk Radio is a film by Oliver Stone, based on the true story of Alan Berg, an American radio phone-in host who was murdered by neo-Nazis in 1984. As such, it's the perfect Stone vehicle, featuring a tortured, maligned, but righteous anti-hero fighting fascism while trying to come to terms with his own male chauvinism and find a girlfriend.
Maybe some of the courage that that small boy had as he faced unspeakable evil can enter me as I face the trials in my own life. As I face the cowardly and the narrow-minded, the bitter, bigoted people who hide behind anonymous phone calls full of hatred and poisonous bile. The gutless, spineless people like you, Chet, who make me puke.
Keep talking, Jew boy. Life is short.
The source material was, as you might expect, a stage play by Eric Bogosian, who also plays the lead role. Ollie is, of course, a great director and a great American. Well, goddammit, he went to Vietnam instead of smoking dope at Oxford, or worse, protesting against the war. He's one of the few American directors living, the other two who spring to mind being Spielberg and Woody Allen, who get to write their own ticket and do whatever the heck they want. His best films for me are Salvador and JFK. Talk Radio is a pretty interesting film. Stone is obsessed by pressing social issues: corruption on Wall Street, US imperialism, the rise of neo-fascist groups, and above all the notion that the United States lost its innocence in the 1960s as a result of Kennedy's assassination and the Vietnam War. This is, of course, what the Americans call bullshit, and John Milius wouldn't buy it for a second. But it's a popular notion among wet liberals who like to view political assassination and out-of-control militarism as the exception rather than the rule. It's the same sort of wishy-washy revisionism we get from David Putnam, who tells us in The Killing Fields that the Americans bombed Cambodia by mistake and how they won the war for us in Memphis Belle. It's all ludicrous, but it's the ludicrosity of the limousine liberal, and there are a lot of those in Hollywood. And vicious betraying gangsters that these liberal studio bosses are, they solve their charred consciences by funding liberal social issue films like this one.
Well, I'm black.
Oh, good for you. What do you want, a medal?
Well, no, I don't. No, I don't. Now, don't play with me like them other people. Yeah, I want you to know that I enjoy listening to your show, and I want to say I like you Jews.
Well, I like you blacks. I think everyone should own one.
Talk Radio is beautifully photographed by Robert Bob Richardson. The script, by Bogosian and Stone, is intermittently pretty good, particularly in its creation of a truly typical American heavy metal stoner, Kent, brilliantly portrayed by Michael Wincott. Kent is the one wonderful creation of the film, a true freak on a par with the Salvadorian death squad leader in Salvador or the Bruegelian conspirators in JFK. You really feel the director's sense of horror that creatures such as Kent exist, which they do in profusion.
You're sitting in a radio station, Kent. You're sitting in front of a live mic. When you speak, thousands of people hear your voice. It penetrates their minds.
Okay, no, listen, I wanna send that one out to Diamond Dave and Billy the bass player and all the babes at the Valley View Mall.
I actually wish Stone would make a film about the grunge phenomenon starring Marky Mark, because he's at his best when he depicts characters he absolutely hates. The problem is, he's into this Manichaean vision of the world, in which the D'Aubissons and the Kents and the neo-Nazis are balanced by good characters, such as Jim Garrison or Charlie Sheen. The closest he comes to a realistic protagonist, I suspect, is the troubled, anguished, conscience-stricken saint we're about to see tonight. Watch out for Rocket's Red Glare, one of the last people to see Sid and Nancy Vicious extant in a small role at the very end. Mr. Red Glare also played the liquor store attendant in Mystery Train. And witness also the prophetic nature of talk radio. Since it was made, the United States has seen the rise to celebrityhood of two truly horrific talk radio personalities, Rush Limbaugh and Howard Stern. Mr. Stern, by the way, bears a close resemblance to Mr. Bogosian in the sepia-tinted flashbacks of talk radio. Could they, by any chance...
There's a tornado watch in effect.